Hello, hello. So here we are on part 7. So we talked about Broadway theater, we talked about off Broadway theater and off Broadway theater. Those are all professional theaters, which means the actors are getting paid for all those jobs. We're going to continue on the professional theater, different spaces, or places rather, where actors get paid to do their work. We have tours. Maybe some of you have seen tours um, at the Hobby Center downtown Houston. That's where a lot of tours come through this area. So these are commercial tours of Broadway shows that crisscross the nation. A lot of these are non-union. That's why I said professional theater, it doesn't always have to mean that they're union members, but most of professional theater is done with unions. They're mostly musicals, these tours, and they have complete sets and costumes from the Broadway show. So Lion King's a famous one. Again, we looked at those costumes and everything. They have a tour that's been going on for over a decade now. An alum of Sam Houston State University actually was Scar in that tour for a couple of years, up until last year. What they do is they take a show from Broadway, and then they travel with that show. The actors are in the show. What they'll do is they'll travel to, let's say, they open in Schenectady, New York. Then they'll go to Buffalo, New York, and do the show there for like a week. Then they'll go to Pittsburgh and do the show there. Then they'll go over to, I don't know, Idaho somewhere and do the show, up to Washington, to Seattle, let's say. And then down the West Coast, they go to Sacramento, and they're doing the same show, The Lion King, the Broadway show, with actors that aren't on Broadway, and they just tour, and then they come through the South, through Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and they'll sit for a week and do that show. So that's what a tour is. The Hobby Center is the place in Houston to see those mostly. It's a big theater. If you've been there, it's beautiful. If you haven't, go and see it. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's a huge house. I think 2,000 seats are there. So then we have a regional theater, which are professional theaters that exist in cities throughout the U.S. They provide a forum in which new plays and classics can coexist and provide an alternate to the comedies and musicals that are the mainstays of Broadway. They develop new audiences for live theater. They're a training ground and energizing center for theater artists. They're an important opportunity for seasoned professionals, and they provide more jobs than Broadway. So regional theaters are theaters that exist in cities, right? So as a tour is one play that goes around the country to different cities. A regional theater is a theater in a city that does a season of plays. So they'll do 5 or 6 plays per year in that same theater space. The Alley Theater is an example of one of those in Houston. So the Alley Theater is a regional theater where they hire actors from Houston, but also from New York, to do their work on a play that'll go from, let's say, September until October, and then they'll have a new show from November until January, and then another show in that same space with a different cast, different actors, different set, different costumes, but they sit in one place and they do shows in a city. So instead of going around, you stay in one spot. Dinner theater is another type, again, very rare nowadays. They offer shows that were on Broadway in the past, seasons with dinner. Quality varies, which is why they don't exist very often anymore. Some union members, mostly non-union, most popular in the 1970s. There's restrictions of space and budget. They have simpler costumes, simpler sets, because there's dinner involved as well. Dinner and drinks during the show. They're a lot of fun if you haven't done it before. There's 2 videos here. There's one about regional theaters, and there's one about dinner theaters. Questions on the quiz.